Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Yesterday, I made a video using a video where a so-called reporter from Washington Post asked Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the GOP candidates for the US presidency, a question regarding white supremacy. And this video is right here. And he trashed her. He spoke with her with balls, intelligence, and knowledge. And that's what I call a leader. And he smacked her, and he refused to bend the knee to her narrative and her catechism. Now, we have here another situation where Vivek Ramaswamy participates in an interview conducted by or it's at least is reported by NBC News exclusive, so I'm guessing it's NBC News, NBC, where he smacks a reporter, another reporter, and this reporter is awful. I have the video here. It is about 4 minutes. 4 minutes, actually 6 minutes, 5 minutes, let's put it 5 minutes, where you're going to see how the so-called reporter uses the weasel techniques of interrupting, so you can't finish your answer. Therefore, the onlookers, the public cannot really make a correct, complete assessment of your answer, because your answer is always cut, so you don't have time to make the whole point. That's the whole point when they interrupt you in interviews. So you start a little bit and they stop you. And then the onlooker, the person who's listening to this or watching this, says, well, that didn't make sense. Yeah, it didn't make sense because she didn't let him finish. That's one thing. The other one is talking fast. Talking fast and asking questions, how should I put it, in an automatic fire. You can make a mistake. And if they can make a mistake, they can catch you later, because they will talk about it later. So this is fast. She's interrupting him, he's answering, and she's talking, and he's talking, and this is an awful interview. I would point out to Vivek Ramaswamy's ability to stay calm, continue his point, smacking her with evidence, and not bowing down. She's just I don't know. I mean, is this the way you interview people? I don't want to believe or think that is the way she is in real life, because if she's like that in real life, I don't know who would stay with her, but probably someone for a while, pump and dump, and then the neighbor whose bicycle is passed to the next one. Nevertheless, enough with this garbage. Let's go to the interview. As I said, is about 5 minutes. I will not intervene. I will let them talk, and for a change, right? And just pay attention. She's going to ask him about the yesterday Washington Post garbage. Ready? Let's see if it's going to work.
To say it, and I think that that's what makes me different than a lot of the other candidates.
Let's talk about what white supremacy and what happened last night for a moment, because when you were talking to reporters last night, you called white supremacy a myth. When someone asked you about Dylan Roof, you said you didn't know who that is. Have you looked up what happened in 2015?
Yeah, look, I said this last night. Invidious racial discrimination is wrong no matter how it happens. But if a Washington Post reporter is asking me almost like a catechism, whatever question I said, I'm against invidious racial discrimination, whatever form it takes, but says, do you denounce white supremacy? It's incumbent on us for us to define what white supremacy is. And I wrote my book, Woke Inc., and I've written about the detailed understanding of what the popular understanding of these terms have come to mean. Do you believe punctuality is a vestige of white supremacy, Dasha?
Holy moly, we got garbage? We have this kind of things here? Okay, well, I guess. The first question, do you think punctuality it is? Yes, because there were some intelligent people who wrote some intelligent books. What was that? White Fragility? A garbage person wrote that book. A woman, I can't remember her name, talking about exactly this, if I remember correctly, that this punctuality is really a white supremacist or something like that. Let me just make that like that and then go back to the, all right. Ready? Let's go back to the... So he is just attacking her head on, and he knows he's winning because, got the truth on your side.
Look,
because if you don't, then you have a disagreement.
He's
about
not answering.
Defining those terms, or the written word, or the use, or the nuclear family. These aren't my words. These are the words of intellectual proponents from Ibram Kendi to the Ayanna Presleys to BLM that have said these are vestiges of white supremacy. So we can't have it both ways. We have to have an honest discussion.
Straw man argument.
Last night you brought up Jussie
Smollett as the best example
Smollett
of white
was the hottest thing in news in the back of a fake actual attack on him that we have to contend with.
And yet you have examples like the Buffalo shooter in New York just in 2022.
You have other
but
examples.
You are also cherry picking when you bring up Jussie Smollett.
I'll look at all of the statistics. More black on black crime.
Please look at the other person sitting next to the unfucked blonde.
Care about actual crime against black Americans? Let's get to the root causes of it in the inner cities of this country.
The Anti-Defamation League tracked a 38% increase in white supremacist propaganda last year.
Who's tracking that?
The Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, the ADL, I don't think is a particularly credible source
So
when
who
they
are we
cherry
supposed
pick
to look to
information.
when we're talking about?
I would suggest look at there's a table, 2x2 table, federal law enforcement data, which you could say what you do. Maybe we shouldn't believe that either. But look at black on black crime.
The FBI.
He's trying to say maybe we should. Oh, okay, FBI. He didn't make a wait. He didn't finish his point. She's just that's why she's paid, right?
Black crime statistics. That's a law enforcement agency. 59.1% was based on race, ethnicity, and ancestry, saying hate crimes rose 12% between 2020 and 2020.
Look at the absolute crimes themselves. What they classify as the hate crime is itself a political judgment. I think
that's exactly what I said. When you hear hate crime in itself, I don't think that's can be accused of hate crime unless you committed a crime, and on top of that they add something that, hey, you said this, or it was based on this and that. But in itself, it's a crime. It's what? It's battery. And battery, and then say it's a hate crime. You did something to someone, and then you said motherfucking Emil coming from abroad or something.
When you actually care about protecting life, if you want to say Black Lives Matter, let's look at where Black lives are actually being lost. It's in the cities, at the heart of other Black Americans and criminals that are restrained by the absence.
She starts again. I said I'm not going to interrupt it, but I think it's better like this for these guys is copyright garbage. So anyway, because you can't analyze it, let it go as it is. So again, he started his point. Let's talk about it.
Talk about as well, but are we supposed to ignore white supremacist hate crimes?
We're not supposed to ignore any kind of crime, Dasha. That's what I say. But what I see is a selective reporting. Take the National Transgender Shooter Manifesto. Every shooter manifesto in a mass shooting has been released within 48 hours.
Listen to this.
Except for that one shooter in Nashville. Now, it ended up being leaked. What do you see? It wasn't a white supremacist. It was somebody that was actually making fun of using derogatory terms. I believe.
Okay, so why are you okay talking about that manifesto and not talking about...
He was making a point, and she interrupted him again, asking something else. So he didn't finish his point.
Manifesto
I'm okay talking about both. I'm more than okay
shooting.
talking about both. But what I'm asking is, why is the mainstream media suppress that one? Why did the police suppress that one? Why was that the one shooter manifesto that of all of the mass shootings, every other shooter manifesto has been released? I'm focused on that one because that's the one that's been hidden from us. And it comes back to the point of my candidacy and the way I'm going to run this country. Trust the people with the truth. If it doesn't match your narrative,
the reality is right now,
I think the media did not hold the police.
Again, he was making a point. She interrupted him. The thing is also here, he's talking about systemic things, general, the system, the dynamics, and she's talking about petty crime, petty little subjects, as we are taught here in college in the United States of America to analyze. I'm going to come back to the video, to analyze issues on the particular cases, not on the general rule, on the particular cases. As if like say, well, the humans are bipeds. And someone say, no, it's not true. What? Because there are some people who walk in the all four limbs. Yeah, but there are the particular case, the outside of the norm. The norm is still there. That just reinforces the norm. No, but you see, little by little sound bites. Let me go back to this. She just argues and throws her little talking points that she has on that list. The other one keeps shut the hell up, doesn't say anything. And he just continues and doesn't let her off the hook.
accountable. They
are
would have been
actually
demanding that.
starting to
If
gain
that was-
ground, gain traction with the Black community, with Latino voters. Do
and it's a
not
good thing.
worry that your
No,
rhetoric is pushing them away. There are folks.
To the contrary, I think we're going to bring Black.
I know that journalists ask questions, they don't debate you. I thought that the journalists, or they ask you a question, they don't make a point for the other side and say you're stupid. You just ask, you want to find out, it's true, but it seems like she's trying to debate him. It's a different story here.
Who are concerned about your rhetoric.
Well, you know what? I'm concerned about the corruption. If you had somebody who actually one of a prominent Black influencer the other day, what did she say? I've been Black my whole life, and this man could actually unify this country. In response to a long exchange I had with a Black pastor who had an event here in Iowa, did challenge me with a hard question, asking me, are my views against affirmative action, how do those align with historical racial
action is a debate that is being had.
If I may,
she woke up. Affirmative action. Yeah, right. Yeah, just a second. And said, if I may.
Finish this. If I may finish my point,
deal with racism.
I think I will be better
denying that racism is a
I've never denied that racism is a problem. If you listen to the response I gave to that Black pastor, my whole point is racism has been a major problem for most of our national history. But we're getting close to the promised land that Martin Luther King envisioned. We're as darn close to it as we ever have been. And so what bothers the heck out of me is it's right when we're close to that promised land. Martin Luther King said it, I may not get there with you, and he didn't get there with us. But I think it desecrates the legacy of our civil rights movement, desecrates the legacy of Martin Luther King, that right when we get closest to the point of having racial equality and gender equality and even opportunities for people of minorities of many types, are we perfect? No, but are we as close as we've ever been? Yes, we have. To then obsess over systemic racism, to then obsess over white guilt and otherwise, we're creating new waves of racism, Dasha, that we otherwise would have avoided.
Dasha got a sign, a signal. She kept quiet from the rest of his speech here until I'm going to leave it for about 1 more minute. She kept quiet for 1.5 minutes, like abruptly. I think someone signaled her, cut the crap, stop, you're too aggressive, too obvious. He speaks with her here as he speaks with a really teenage, very indignated teenage, I don't know, like 13 years old, 12 years old. That's how she acts like. And he keeps his patience, and she tries to reason.
Right when we're closest to having achieved what even the proponents of the civil rights movement would have dreamed of. That's what bothers me. My exchange with that Black pastor about a week or so ago, right here in Iowa, not far from where we are, it was in Indianola, not far from where we are in Des Moines, was that we're founded on the pursuit of a more perfect union. The pursuit, not complete. Pursuit. That's fantastic. And it's fantastic. Liberty, equality, and justice for all. And I reject this left-wing narrative that's creating more artificial division. So I believe I will bring more Black and Hispanic voters into our movement, not by saying fake poll-tested slogans, but by speaking the hard truth that we've been imperfect in our past, but let us celebrate the progress we've made and reject the media's cherry-picking narratives to actually get to the truth of the matter. And now if we care about Black lives, the things we're going to do isn't obsessing about white supremacy. It's actually fixing the problems in our cities, which I will do as our president.
I want to move us on. We're nearly out of...
Good job. Good job. She got a sign, cut the crap, because she kept quiet for about 2 minutes or more. So he didn't get angry. He kept, he stood his ground. He said what he had to say. She spoke, he spoke. He was, how should I put it? It's like someone tries to poke you in the eye and you knock him out. And then the person again tries to poke you in the ass and again you knock him out. It's like every time these guys try to do like how the mosquitoes come and every time you smack them. It's a bite versus a smack or whatever you call it. So the same is here. She was with garbage interpretations and yeah, affirmative action. Oh my God. You are denying this. I never denied that. It's like you put words in my mouth. It's just I'm very I'm glad that Vivek Ramswamy runs for presidency, even though he's obviously unelectable because the system will not allow such a guy to win. Maybe this time, maybe through, I don't know, a miracle. And since some people walked on water, maybe he's going to go through the needle not that needle, then maybe he's going to get elected. But the problem is, even if he gets elected, he's in the middle of lions, and I don't think he's going to be like Daniel from the Bible. Oh, fuck. I think he's just going to, just because he's around, just because he takes on the media, on these weasels, and dominates them. And he's not like, let's say, 70, like Trump, that lived the life and had the direct experience working with people. He's 38 and still dominates these people who did their homework. They come with the papers and they spew all this done, and he's just from his brain. Yeah, it takes practice, obviously. I don't think this is the first time he does it. But and the questions seem to be the same coming from those guys. I mean, the same idea, but formulated differently. So he just, as my father used to say, I just open the little drawer and I take the answer 329 from the 339 drawer and I give it to you. Because I already got it ready many years back. So, for instance, when I had some conversation with my father, he said, well, go ahead. And he said, I'm just going to open drawers because I already have the answers for whatever you're going to say. And he was right. He was right because he was smart. And that's one of the attributes. Not because he was my father, but nevertheless, that's a different story. Here, Vivek Ramaswamy, even if he goes away, this moment in time is good for a teaching, a learning experience for people who don't understand what's going on, could open their eyes. Now, obviously, if you take a crazy guy from the whatever ideology and looks at this, let's say, of the blonde's supposed ideology, I don't really believe or think that she really thinks that way. That's her job. So she can be fake 100%. Can be fake, and she's just doing it. And then from there she can jump in another, she's NBC News, can do her blog from now, I don't know, in 2 years from now, and then be, I don't know, a Nazi in her ideology. I saw that happening with that, can't remember that woman who interviewed Trump. I can't remember, long hair, brown hair. She interviewed him at the town hall. I think she works now for CNN, if I remember correctly. Anyway, she interviewed Ramaswamy as well, and he smacked her around and after that he said, I just had to make arguments with a late or forever teenager or something. That's what he said, forever teenager, or that's kind of like expression, late teenager. So here is, my friends, Vivek Ramaswamy. Listen to his arguments, because he makes very, very, very good points. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening. I'm surprised that he was still invited at MSNBC, at NBC, and he's not out. That means they still try to destroy him and his character, and I don't think they're successful. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.